So, on today's episode, we want to talk about going from book one to book two. How do you really know that you are at the end, or what to do when you're querying? Um, because writing a novel, it's kind of like birthing a child, right? And writing the next novel is like when everybody is asking you when you're ready for baby number two, right after you just had the first one. So, we're going to chat about that today.
Susan Poole is joining us today, and she has a very unique perspective on this because guess what? She published her first one and she's working on her second and her third. So we just wanted to chat with her. We know her through WFWA. She's a wonderful human, and we kind of want her to just hang around with us all the time.
Welcome to this episode of Margs Manuscripts. We are so excited. We have one of our favorite people here as a guest. We just wanted to start off by toasting to all of you because this is our first episode since we have launched, and we are just like completely overwhelmed with all the messages and comments on our Instagram and TikTok from all of you guys like supporting us in the community. And we want to thank you so much for that. So here's to you today. That is our opening post. There is a couple of
Cheers!
people I like
Cheers!
want to shout out specifically because we have been chatting nonstop and you have been supporters from the beginning. So Nicole Yvette, you're amazing. Lane Patton, oh my gosh, thank you so much for all of your help sharing everything and just listening. Karen Selby, it's been so nice to meet you. Kirsty Leonard, of course, and Mike Rosenthal. Like, we'll tag you in this and make sure you see it. But thank you. Cheers to you and cheers to everybody tuning in. Thanks
Thanks.
again. So today we have Susan Poole. If you don't know her already, Susan Poole is a storyteller whose road to publication is every bit as twisty as the moral gray zones that she loves to write. After nearly a decade of honing her craft, she's released her debut novel, Out of the Crash, with Wild Rose Press in 2025. Fun fact, it was the third book that she has finished, so proof that persistence is key. Maybe just a little bit of dash of luck, but really it does pay off. She's a mother. She is a lawyer. She's a nonprofit exec. She's a cancer survivor. And Susan pulls from a life that refuses to fit into tidy categories. So we love that about her. She's currently cooking up a modern twist on fried green tomatoes and revising an earlier manuscript to see if it's ready for its comeback tour. Susan lives in Cleveland with her husband and her 3 grown kids. Are out in the world. They don't live with you anymore, right? And 2 extremely codependent dogs. She met us at the WFWA retreat earlier this year and instantly fit into the chaos. So proof that the writing community is truly magic. And we are so excited to have her on Margs Manuscripts today. So thank you for being here, Susan. We are thrilled. We've been waiting.
Oh my gosh, thank you for having me. I'm flattered that you asked.
It's going to be so
Yes, you were like literally the first person that came to mind when we're like, we should have guests. Susan.
I love that. Thank you.
Here is the plug for her book. We did give it away in our November book box. So Ashley, who reads books, leave your review. It's amazing. And I have to say that Susan, actually, I met her at my first WFWA retreat. And I had been in a hole for so long writing my own book. I had never met anybody that had written their own book. And Susan was the first person I met. And then when her book came out, it was the first time I had ever read a book that somebody I knew had written. And it was really special for me. So thank you, Susan. And that's why I love this community so much, because you meet these people, you make these friends, and then you read their work. And you are just like even more blown away by who they are and then what they can do. And so that's why we're here today. It's been amazing.
So we want to start off with a drinking game because these are real margaritas today. So we're just going to do a little take a drink if author edition. Okay. So take a drink if you actually wrote today. Yeah, I know. I didn't.
Yeah, it should be take a drink if you didn't write today.
If that's the case, then yeah. Okay, take a drink if you've ever forgotten your character's full name. Yeah. This is why we have spreadsheets.
Or realize you didn't give them a last name until your query.
Take a drink if you wrote something and then immediately deleted it. Like, yeah, that's oh, Susan, you're like, every piece of thing I write is wonderful. You wrote in your manuscript, fill this in
Oh, yeah.
later.
I definitely did. Or like, add some banter here.
Parentheses, maybe not this. Take a drink if you took a break from writing and just wanted to check Instagram and suddenly it was an hour later.
Or trying to get us drunk.
Mm-hmm. Take a drink if you have more than 5 stories started, not
More than
finished.
5?
More
That's
than
a lot.
5.
I'd say I'm at 3.
I'm at 3.
Susan feels like she has a lot.
I'm 2. I'm
You're
at
at
2.
2. Okay.
I'm at 2.
Oh, that's not bad. So are you like a once you start, you have to finish it?
Yes. Working on 2 at a time is hard for me. Like, I'm tunnel vision. So, yeah.
Take a drink if you realize that you totally lied and your entire outline needs to be scrapped.
Outline schmoutline.
I was going to say, who has an outline?
This one does.
Yes, I do. We really wanted to just pick your brain on what it's like, because I know you said like you like to start and finish, and it's very hard for you to transition to other stories at the like same time. What was that like going from, okay, I'm done with this, to starting the next story? Was that like a really daunting task, or was it like exciting for you?
I mean, I think it was exciting at first, but then when you get into it further down the path, it becomes daunting, especially since I'm kind of knee deep in book marketing right now. My book's only been out since the end of July. So, for instance, I did a book club appearance a couple weeks ago, and they asked me what celebrity my main character reminded me of. And I immediately went to the book that I'm working on. And I wasn't even thinking about Out of the Crash because I wrote it 3.5 years ago or something like. So I moved on. And then somebody at the book club actually said, if you're going to do these book club appearances, you really should brush up on your characters. And I was like, I mean, it was funny, but I do get like, as a reader, I am the girl, I read a lot, but I never remember afterwards. Like I can't remember plots. I remember general. I remember if I liked it. So even with my own stuff, I was like, gosh, I don't remember. I don't know. So I do think the more I try to do this and move on, but then get sucked back into the book that I'm marketing, it is becoming more and more daunting, like you say.
I think that's such a good point, and it's something that we don't talk about a lot, especially as aspiring authors or authors like looking for publication now or querying, is that there is such a time that goes by between either when you hit the end, when you find your agent, and then when you go out on sub, and then when it gets picked up, and then by the time it gets published. Like, what was that timeline for you?
It was just long. I mean, I
Never ending.
and then you also wonder, like, I think I was offered my contract in August of 2024, but it released in July of 2025. So you start like the revision back and forth with your editor, but like even then after they signed off on it, there were still things I wanted to change. And I was like, could I go back and say, hey, there's one more thing I want to change? Or when is it really done? Like, because I think some people just are done and move on, but I'm constantly thinking of things like, oh, I wish I would have had this in there. Oh, I wish I wouldn't have had this in there, So, yeah, I need to get better about that and just move forward.
So it was August to July, and then I know you signed with Wild Rose Press. When you signed or when you decided to publish with them, did you sign on to do a book 2 immediately, or did they just publish this book?
They just published this book, so I don't have 2 books, right?
Got it.
Yeah.
So what was the deciding factor that was like, I need to start the next book? When were you like, this has to continue?
Yeah, like,
Since
was
there
it
wasn't
right
a deadline.
after?
So I think I tried to keep myself busy when I was like, for sure, because I was in the querying trenches for a long time, and I didn't want to keep revisiting it and rewriting it. So that's when I started this new book. because I wanted to distract myself. I wanted to keep getting better, that kind of thing. But then people do tell me, and I don't know, if this is valid advice or whatever, but I've heard from several people that you really want to get another one out there pretty quickly, not quickly, but like within the 2 years. So that's kind of why I came up with the idea of maybe I should revisit one of the ones that died on the vine that didn't make it out of the query trenches, and maybe I should like brush that up. And so that's kind of why I'm juggling 2 projects right now. I don't know if
So
that answers your
I've heard that advice a lot because I'm in the query trenches right now, which is like, hey, you need to get yourself through this or like not be checking your inbox 500 times a day. So you should just start on the next
Yes.
project. But I have too much millennial anxiety to like put my mind into another place. And I am so afraid of moving on from this era of the book. You know what I mean? Like you said, like that
Yeah.
era was so long ago for me. And I'm like, I don't know if I'm ready to move on from this era if I'm still in the querying zone with it. And then they're going to come back to me and be like, let's edit it. And then I have to jump back into that era that I've already kind of moved on from. Did you have any difficulty with that? Like going back into changing stuff and
Um, well, so I think everybody has to find what's best for them. And for me, I knew that if I stayed with the book that eventually got published, I would have been tweaking it forever. And like there was even a time I remember thinking to myself, oh, I mean, because I got a few full requests from agents and I thought, oh, now that I've made it better, should I go back to them and say, hey, the last version you have, I've made it better. Can I send you different pages? Which I was afraid that would make me look like a crazy person. So I just said, I can't do that. And so I literally said, this is done. But then when I got my contract and I had to like jump back into that other book, I just quickly abandoned the new one because I was so just over the moon that I was getting published. And, so that transition wasn't hard at all. Like I just said, okay, this other one is on the back burner. I'm not going to even think about it. And so I didn't think about it for at least a year, if not longer.
that honestly sounds so nice though.
If you were to compare like that entire life cycle of like going back and then like leaving it alone, going back, leaving it alone, how would you compare that to like an actual relationship with a person? Because I feel like we all have like it's like a heartbreak at some point, and then you're like, I'm annoyed by you.
So that's interesting that you asked me that question. I am a terrible boundary person. Like I have a terrible time setting boundaries. Even like people in my life that suck energy from me,
Mhm.
I let it happen until I can't take it anymore, right? So if your analogy is like, what do you do there? I have no good advice because I really will just let it happen and happen until I can't take it anymore. And then I would step back and finally say, I've had enough. And then somehow it always creeps back in. So I have no words of wisdom for you there whatsoever. I know my weaknesses, and that is a big one.
So that's like the the boyfriend that's treated you poorly. He keeps coming crawling back.
Yes, yes, yeah.
I'm so curious too, because now that you're writing the new one, do you feel like you're a published author now? Or do you feel like that
Yeah.
author or writer writing your first novel again with all of the things that we experience, like the panic and imposter syndrome and like, is this good enough? Or did it like having that published book, which I think like we all romanticize in our head that we're all of a sudden going to gain this like magical confidence once we have a book out in the world. Does that happen? Is that real?
I mean, some days I really have to sit back and go, I can't even believe that this dream actually came to fruition. So then I feel really good about it. And then there's other days where, like, of course, part of me thinks, well, if I get another one out there and like become a career author, can I leverage the fact that this book is resonating with people and it's, has some decent sales and some decent reviews? Will that like bring me some more brand awareness? And so there are days where I go, okay, I'm kind of doing this thing. And then other days I go, oh, well, what if the one that I'm kind of resurrecting now, it died on the vine for a reason, probably. And so what if I put it out there and people go, wow, I liked your first one, but I don't like your second one, which was really my second one. And so the self-doubt, I don't think for me will ever go away. I'm constantly overthinking and constantly wondering. Um, I never wonder if this publication was a fluke, because I know in my heart how hard I worked and, how much I put into it. So that part of my lack of confidence has dissipated, but for future projects, I think it's just all the same, honestly.
Love that. I love that your attitude is like, I think that there are so many authors that you talk to who are like, I know I'm so lucky. Isn't it amazing? Like, I can't believe it's happening. And it's like, if it happens to me, if I go with a traditional publisher, I think I would be like, I have been working my ass off on this book for so long. Like, yes, it should be happening. Like, you know how long
Yeah.
this process is?
I went to a book signing once, and there was a woman there who had multiple books published, and she was, I don't know, maybe in her late 60s, early 70s, and one of her books, one of her multiple books got picked up by Netflix, and they were doing a series, and she said now everyone in her circle was like, "Oh my gosh, that's so amazing. Oh, you're an overnight success." And she was like, "Overnight success?" I mean, she was like, "People have no idea all the years, all the angst, all the rejection." And she was like, "I didn't want to be offended, but I was really like, really, I'm not an overnight success. I've been doing this for decades." So I do think that's something that if you're not in this world, you really don't get.
No, and
Totally.
there is, I truly believe, the longer that when we meeting people in the community, doing it yourself, the longer that you do it, the more you realize that there are no overnight successes, that things are truly like the only people who get success are the people who show up and do the thing. People who are talking about it
Yes.
don't just one day like wake up and the thing that they've been talking about is happening. It's like it's the people who show up every day and create the thing and do the thing. So it's important that you do the thing and you probably do it for a long time before. So it's really good. It's really good to hear that from somebody who's kind of on the other side of all of this because it is like we're in the part right now where we're putting in the work and it feels like you're putting in the work or you're showing up for nothing almost at this point. It feels like you're showing up and nothing's
Yeah.
happening because you're just showing up and you're creating for so long. And then you're showing up and you're querying and you're showing up and you're going to that pitch event or you're going to that workshop and you feel like, what am I doing? Like, but it's all putting those pennies in the bucket too.
But I also think I feel like I've shifted my mindset to to me, the end goal, yes, I dreamt of publication, but like now that I look back at it, really, I love writing. I love learning about writing. I love the craft of writing. I love meeting other writers like you guys. And so some days I just tell myself, if nothing else ever happened, that should be enough, right? I mean, that's a hard thing to swallow sometimes, but I really do repeat it to myself every day. Like I feel like I got where I wanted to be. And if I don't sell two books, which I've sold more than two, but if
I bought two.
nothing ever happens after this, I'm pleased with where
Yeah.
I am. But I'm gonna
Oh
still keep
yeah, of course.
working.
I have a question is you wrote Out of the Crush after I mean, it's based on a tragedy, and it's based on, um, being, a cancer survivor, and it's based on all of these things that are deep and heavy themes. I'm so curious because your next book, you teased that it's a version of fried green
Mhm.
tomatoes, and I'm so curious as to how, like, that transition is going for you from something that's this deep to I'm trying to show the book as much as I can, to I don't know, do you feel like it's a little bit more lighthearted, or how has that tone shift worked for you?
So I'm trying to make it more lighthearted. I think it actually comes more from a place of, so the main character is leaving her home, and because she has some mobility issues, so she's got to go live with her son. And so right now my mom has become very dependent on me, and I see how hard it is for her to give up her independence. So I think there still is a heaviness there because that particular character, the one who's all of a sudden like was the nurturer, now needs to be nurtured. She's all of a sudden struggling with like, what about me? Like, why doesn't anyone know who I am? They just see me as this needy person. So I am trying to make it a little lighter. And so the other character kind of balances her out because she's this young, bubbly social media wannabe influencer. And she kind of, races into this tattoo parlor to videotape it, and she's winking at herself and everything. And she meets this woman who has had a lifetime of tattoos who's getting ready to leave her hometown. So there's kind of like the heaviness, but then the lightness to kind of balance it out. So I think, and I'm only about 30% finished with it, but this one I did outline. So this was my first attempt at outlining.
Oh,
Proud of me, right? So yeah, so I think I have an idea of where it's going. So it's still a little heavy, but hopefully fun
A
too.
little bit, yeah. That's really exciting. That sounds awesome. I'm actually really curious too to chat a little bit about um how hard it is or easy it is to go from the end to the high of being like, that's done. To
I did
how
it.
what do you do when you start a new project? And like literally.
Like, what is the process for you of I am sitting down and I'm starting
I am
something
sitting down and
fresh?
I'm typing chapter 1.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like I've evolved a lot from the beginning, but and it was probably through a WFWA workshop that I attended about author branding. And I literally had an aha moment because if I look at like the 3 books that I've written, the first one was about a serial killer. The
I
second
didn't know
one,
that.
because that's what I like
Like,
to read. Like I love to read mystery thriller, not
like
horror.
hefty.
And then the second one, the one that I'm resurrecting now, is about a murder on a reality TV show. But I'm kind of pitching it as like a Coldplay situation because the the woman who's hired, it's this is I don't have my elevator pitch down yet for this, but
Oh, you're fine.
there's a woman who is a defense attorney. Her husband cheated on her. She found out about it on live reality TV. And then her husband wants her to defend him when the girlfriend is murdered. So that one is romantic suspense. So you've got serial killer, you've got this reality TV show, and then you've got Out of the Crash, which is I think a lot more realistic. It was really inspired by something that happened in my hometown for real. So sometimes I say the only reason I got this published is because I was very passionate about this one because I watched it unfold or a version of it unfold in real life. But when I went to this workshop about branding, it was like, I can tie them all 3 together. Even though they sound completely unrelated, they all deal with the idea of moral gray area. Nothing's ever black and white. Nothing's like it seems. There's always 2 sides to a story, which all of a sudden became my tagline for everything I write about. Even like I do blogging. I like to dig into that in blogging. And so I think when I started this next project, I asked myself that question, like, how does that fit into that author brand? Like this book, Fried Green Tomatoes, how does that black and white thing play out in a scenario with an older woman befriending a younger woman, where they're both think they're completely different, but they find out by the end of the book that they're very similar. So I think, and I worked a little bit with a book coach too, and she was always saying, what's the point of your story? Like, why are you telling the story? What's the point? So instead of starting with chapter 1, my advice is, start with why are you writing this? What's the point? How does it fit into your author brand?
That
Oh,
is
I
a good
love
tip.
that. Like, I want to now write this and put it on my
I
wall. Like, I have
know.
like a pegboard in
This is
front of
why
my
we have
desk.
way
Like,
smarter
what's the
people
point?
on.
Like, my wheels were like turning when you were saying that because, like, I come from marketing, I come from branding. And that's always been like very much like in the forefront of how do I present myself like online, but also in like my writing. But I don't think I've ever actually heard someone like put it that like succinctly of just like what's the point? Like why am I writing this? So I'm like I like to jump in between projects, like be like complete like palette cleansers. So, like, my first one is, like, very much, like, a suspenseful fantasy romance, and then the second book that I'm writing it's a contemporary second chance romance, and, like, very different, but then, like, the third one is, like, going back to that first world that, like, I made. I think my, like, what's the point is showcasing women in, like, a seat of power and watching how they can change the world around them to fit themselves better. And now I'm just like, I know I have, like, life and shit to do now, but I just wanna go write.
Well, none of us wrote today, so
Rap.
you can go.
Yes, yes. Take a drink if you're gonna write.
I think that's the thing too, to like reiterate for people who are like mid project. I felt like when I was writing my first manuscript and I was truly in the middle of it. I don't know about you guys, like, but I could not picture myself ever writing another book again. I was like, I am gonna be
Really?
a one and done. This shit is too hard. Get me out of here. And then I finished it and I hit the end and I felt like I had 20 more books in me.
I love that
So
for
if you're
you.
feeling
Yeah.
like how are you guys talking about your next books? Like this is how because I felt like that would have been me. It'll happen when it's ready to happen. But you might get to that end and you might say, "Oh, I need to go back. I have no idea. There's other things I want to do. I'm not done. I'm not done yet." And you might be ready or you might not be for a while. That's okay.
Who do you think has a really wonderful author brand that you, like, admire?
I mean, I think yeah, I mean, I'm thinking of just the Emily Henrys and Abby Jimenez's. I love those authors that have a million books out, but you go back and you look at like the first book or the first 2 books that they put out and they are nothing.
Yes.
I think Kristen
Mhm.
Hanna is one of them.
Yes.
Kristen Hanna has like a very strong brand and so many books, but you look at like her first book and you're like, that is not the same. These aren't
Yeah. Yeah, like, Callie Hart, like, I just finished her 2nd book of, like, the Quicksilver series. Quicksilver is, like, one of my all-time favorite fantasy books. I will reread it any single day of the week. So I finished Brimstone. I'm like, "Oh, I really haven't actually thought about, like, other Callie Hart stories." And I go and I look, I'm like, "They're nothing like this. This is very different. This is, like, very, very polar different."
At first I was trying to think of, like, non-series,
Mm.
you know, like the Jodi Picoults, in the legal thrillers, you know, you've got your John Grishams, your Baldaccis, you know, they all have a brand, right? Um, but not necessarily all series. I love, you know, Diana Gabaldon, but that's a series. Um, she's definitely got a great brand though.
Look at like
And you
Aline. I'm gonna murder her name because I just read it and I never say it out loud. Ellen Hilsbrand.
yes, like the ones all on Nantucket.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a
I
great
mean,
brand too.
like
Yep.
what a through line. But like, what if she wanted to write mystery thriller? We'd all think that was a little weird, but we'd welcome her.
I think it's actually kinda cool when they go off-brand,
Very
right?
cool.
Especially if they have a big name, because then everyone's kind of
I
intrigued
don't want to read
by
a rom
what's
com
coming.
by John Grisham.
No.
Bill
No.
I think he
O'Reilly
wrote a
rom
did he
com,
write a Christmas story? He might have written a Christmas Story at one point in time. I didn't read it.
Oh.
Yeah, which would have been off.
but
Yeah.
it's like Die Hard or something.
I just need to know, is Die Hard a Christmas movie, yes or no?
Hey, we could talk about AI. We could talk about prologues on this podcast, but I do not want to get into that debate.
I love you so much, Kate.
I can't do it.
So good. Okay, so you said that you get in your way when you're editing or when you're writing and you're yeah. How did you okay, which one was it? Was it that you hate editing or enjoy editing?
I enjoy editing, and I think we were all in the same workshop when we talked about having a hot trash, draft, right? When we were in Albuquerque, and that's what my goal is for my next one. I just wanna get it all out, like, get all the words on paper. My problem is I can tinker with a sentence for an hour and a half, and, like, all
Oh god.
my days gone by and I wrote 20 words, and I don't wanna do that next time. I really would like to just have that really bad rough draft and go back and edit it. My problem is I edit as I write. And I think that's an obstacle for me that I'm trying to overcome.
Yeah, the whole, like, writing garbage and letting garbage be garbage is
Yes.
It's
very
really
off-brand
hard.
for
That's
me.
difficult. Have you guys seen and if anybody uses this, like, put it in the comments of this episode because I'm so curious and I may ask for this for Christmas. But those little writing pads, they're just little keyboards and they don't have a screen. And you can just, like, type they just have, like, a tiny little, like, almost analog screen at the top, but you don't see your whole all of your stuff the way you would a Word document, and you just type on them. What are they called? Have you seen them?
I Yes, I keep getting served ads for them. I'm like, "Instagram ads, you're really working on my patience here because I don't need another freaking gadget."
Have you seen this?
What's it for
So
though?
it's
No,
just so,
what's the
like,
point?
you
What's
can
the point?
almost just free write without looking at a screen.
And not being distracted by a
Yes,
computer.
you're not looking at the document and you're just, like, free writing on a keyboard.
It'd be good for me.
And I'm just
Yeah.
I'm very curious to try it and just see. I'm almost, like, feel relief even thinking about that feeling with my hands on my keyboard right now and thinking about the feeling of just typing away without Is anybody a hand writer? Does anybody write it out by hand first? Really?
Nope.
Nope,
You don't outline by
I
hand?
can't do it.
No?
Only if I'm writing a note, like in the middle of the I have a notepad by my desk or by my bed, and I'll write something out in the middle of the night so that I don't have to go down and turn my computer on, but for the most part, I'm computer.
I can't because this is gonna sound really weird. I fixate on my penmanship more than what I'm writing. If you ever get, like, a handwritten card from me, I have probably practiced writing it on a scrap piece of paper first, and then, like, I rewrite it, and I have, like, all my glyphs and my, like, curvy things, like, perfectly matched and, like, my cohesive branded hand lettering. I sound like a psychopath. So I'm gonna stop talking now.
I thought at least Susan would be with me on the handwriting.
Yeah, no, not a handwriter.
I didn't I is that what
You handwrite your manuscripts?
I handwrite everything
Kate, you
first, yeah.
handwrite? Wow.
Or at least get it going.
That's
What?
I love that.
Yeah, and I saw this
Hemingway probably
interview.
wrote
Did you guys
things
see the
too.
interview with, Emma Thompson? I think it was the Tonight Show where she was talking about AI and whatever, but she was saying, like, she writes everything by hand because she thinks there is, like, a true connection to, like, your brain and your hand and the page, and then it all made sense to me because I feel the most free when I'm, like, writing it by hand first.
I'm shocked.
I'm shocked too. I have terrible handwriting, so I can hardly ever even read my own handwriting, so that might be one reason, but
If you
yeah, I
write by
mean, you're
hand,
probably more thoughtful
let
that
us know.
way,
Can
right?
somebody be on my side in this and let us know if you write by hand because
Right?
I thought I
Yeah. Or if you are a soon-to-be serial killer and fixate on how your handwriting looks. I don't know, maybe?
we just did an episode that by the time this episode comes out, it aired last week, um, on writing hacks, and we just talk about how hacks in writing aren't there to save time. They're there to just help you get better at writing. Um, so I guess this is one of those. It certainly doesn't save time, but it helps me feel like I did a better job than I just freeze up in front of a computer.
This is literally gonna be something that's stuck in my brain all day long now. I think it's time for Susan to plug her book.
Oh, I could plug my book. So, yeah, plugging out of the crash still. So, it's obviously women's fiction. It's dual point of view. It's about the aftermath of a bicycle crash. But what I like to say is, as the book moves forward, it's a lot less about the bicycle crash and it's more about, I like to say it's a metaphor for life. So it's about what happens when something, no matter what it is, a death, a divorce, an accident, a job loss, whatever it is, something comes out of nowhere and like upsets the apple cart. What happens and what do you do with that? And so what relationships are you forced to look at and say, oh my gosh, I've been neglecting this for so long. What do I need to fix? Do I have a second chance at something? The title of this book, I think, is perfect because it's what do you do, after the crash or out of the crash? What are those things that you can change afterwards that maybe you didn't even realize needed to be changed in the beginning? So, yeah. So it's available everywhere, I think. It's on Amazon, Barnes& Noble, Target, Walmart. Reviews are super important. I like to tell people that. I didn't know that before, but now that I have a book out there, I find myself in this position where I have to reread and review every author I know. So my TBR list is really, really big right now. But I get it now. Like, it's really important to like support other authors, just like you guys are doing by having me on here. So thank you for that. So that's my plug.
Yay!
We need to have you back on to do an episode on reviews and arcs and all of that.
I would love it. I have to tell you, I'm actually usually terrified by these situations. Like, I don't like my voice. I don't like to like speak in public. It's a necessary evil for a lot of things I do in life, but you guys made it so easy, and I knew you would when you asked me, because I met you two, and I kind of knew it would be very casual and fun, and so I thank you for making it casual and fun. It's
Good.
great, and I love to listen.
Yay!
We're so happy that you were here. We won't take up any more of your time. We know you have exciting plans.
I think you guys are doing a great job with it. The graphics, the music. I really am having fun. I'm in my car laughing when I listen to it because you guys are so cute. It's really, really good. So I hope it's getting traction. I hope it gets the traction.
It is. It is. Honestly, it is. So it was a good time to come on. It's doing really
Oh,
well.
that's great.
So we're pumped. But anyway, we'll let you go.
Good luck to you, and happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Chatting with Susan is always such a delight. Like, when I met her in New Mexico, I just wanted to just hang out with her all day long, and I'm glad we got to do
That's
that
really
today.
nice because I just wanted her to be my mom.
Yeah, that too. I wasn't gonna go there, but I'm glad you did.
We were so excited to be bringing guests on to the show now. And so check back with us next week because we're going to have author Lindsay Goldstein, and her book comes out the beginning of next year. So we're really excited to chat with her about that.
And if you want to be featured on Margs and Manuscripts, i.e., you want to just have a margarita and talk book stuff with us, there is a form in our link in the bio on Instagram and on YouTube. Fill it out. We'll reach out to you, and we're just looking for more best
Yeah.
friends.
So come join us. Cheers.
Cheers! We did it! Merry Christmas! That was like a really creepy thing of like Santa coming in hot.
Not true. Merry Margarita Christmas.
Also, I realized this entire time that there has been a price tag at the bottom of